Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Meredith and I today. Today, we have an absolutely exciting topic about lucid dreaming and dream body. And Meredith is going to start us off by talking about what lucid dreaming is, what's going on, and what experiences could be like. And then I'll chat about dream body after that. So, Meredith, please take it away.
Yay! This is one of my favorite topics. I fell in love with this book, The Dreaming Universe by Fred Allen Wolf, and Anastasia also fell in love with it. And it's been a personal quest for me since I was a kid, I guess, because I'd always had these dreams and didn't know what to do with them because I was having nightmares as well. And to me, the whole thing just seemed like a big mess. Oh, what a pretty kitty. So a lucid dream is one in which you absolutely know that you're dreaming. And I say absolutely. I would say that for me, when I lucid dream, there is this sense of varying amounts of control that I have, depending upon the dream and depending where I am. And also having some degree of control inside the dream to influence outcomes, to make things appear. Um, Often, I don't know about you, Anastasia, when I have these dreams, um, I find that I have a headache uh, afterwards because it takes some brain power. It And I was having a really hard time understanding practical applications for someone like me who, okay, great, this is a stupid human trick, right? So what good is this going to do me? And when I read the book, and this is a decade ago now, I saw that it has the ability to help me influence my outcomes in life, having more control over myself, my body, my mind, my spirit, that there's the potential for connecting with others while in that space, other dream bodies, maybe put it that way, other souls, other spirits. I think there are a lot of practical applications, and the Dreaming Universe, the book, and also we found an article in Scientific American for December 2025
Uh-huh.
on the topic.
Uh-huh.
Um, Researchers are trying to name what it is in scientific
Right.
terms, where it comes from, and how we can use it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
No,
exciting.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was trying to show a book and it was too blurry. We will provide the name of the book after in the comments section and all. I apologize for the interruption. Go ahead.
And I'm not sure, but it might be available for free download somewhere. I was looking at it today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. The book, I will send a link in the description when I upload the video on YouTube. But if you'd like to share if you'd like, I can share also where they can find the article. Because
Yes, that would be
that's an
great.
incredible article. That's like a ballbuster of an article. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's this month, right?
Yeah,
Scientific American 2025, January 2025.
right.
And just as an aside, I love Scientific American to sort of be the scientific support for the things that I'm experiencing through what I do as a psychic medium, is to understand my brain, understand my experiences. And there's a lot of quantum physics, there's a lot of articles in there, but it's such an excellent source. So that's my commercial for Scientific American.
Hmm. So let's talk about the lucid dreaming and how it's experienced, how what the difference, first of all, for some people might not know what the difference is between the regular dreaming and lucid dreaming. And there's a huge difference. Would you like to talk
Sure.
about that?
Sure. When people come to me about dreams, when I have my own dreams, I ask myself and I ask them, well, the first hurdle I have to get through in my head is this a psychological dream or is this a
Psychic.
spiritual psychic
Hmm.
thing? Um, and once I determine what that is, then I feel like I'm going somewhere. Now, Fred Allen Wolf goes to this place where he covers um, Carl Jung and his research. Carl
Yeah.
Jung, I think, was it Carl Jung who brought up the dream body? Did he coin that phrase?
I think I no, I don't think so. Was it? I'm blanking myself,
I'm
but
blanking.
yeah, I'm not 100%. I'm not gonna lie, but he did mention him for sure. Yeah,
He did, yeah. And so
probably because he
he
really
takes
does.
what was that?
Probably because he really does interact in that world. Like he used to. His majority of his work was around stuff like this. So probably.
And Fred Allen Wolf said that Jung was like 5 to 600 years ahead of his time. So
Yeah.
now I'm thinking, okay, I need to go back and look at this for my college psychology course.
Yeah.
So, and he also brings up Freud and using those as psychological um, litmus tests to figure out, what's going on.
Right.
Now, a regular dream, you could be staring at Tweety Bird and, he's eating a peanut butter sandwich and, that tells me maybe I have a headache because I didn't eat enough before I went to bed. You can always find this kind of thing. Um, but a more spiritual dream is different. And you can actually have um, a lucid dream in either situation. It
Yeah.
depends on where you are. But
Yeah.
a lucid dream is something where you feel like you have control over
Hmm.
some degree of control. It feels it feels like it, and there's my cat. You can influence the outcome more
Right. If you choose to.
if you
Yeah.
choose to.
And as a matter of fact, you will start to do that, especially if it's a nightmare. You will be intuitively drawn to trying to manipulate the outcome. That
Yes.
is how you know, like, yes.
And I found, I have it to varying degrees. Now, I was thinking about this the past week, and I was having a nightmare, and it was a scary woman. She was angry with me, and she would come near me, and I would get scared. And I thought it was like on a constant loop. It kept happening. It was like this lovely little download from the universe. Finally, after the third time, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, this is a lucid dream. How can I stop this? And the more I practiced in the dream, the better I got. It's like, okay, first of all, we don't get scared. So she's going to come, she's going to go, ooh, and you're going to be like, I'm not scared of you. So it seemed like every time I went through this loop, I got better and better with it.
Hmm.
I wasn't trying to get out of the dream. I was just trying to conquer, as Fred Allen Wolf would say, one of the other characters,
Avatars. Yes.
avatars in the
Yes.
dream.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it does take practice. I think that dream reminded me of that.
Yes. Okay.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel headachy the next day. And you and I were talking about, and for me, I found this to be true. A lot of my um, lucid dreaming happens in that in between state of sort of being awake,
Hmm.
sort of being asleep. And that's also the space in which I feel like I get more psychic dreams,
Yes.
flashes of images.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that's my next question is after reading what I read, I started I the reason why I called it a bullbuster because as you and I discussed, sometimes I thought like, oh my God, it's such a psychic dream. But after reading this article, I'm like, is it? Because did my brain make it this way, or was it really psychic? But now that we're discussing this and understanding that lucid dream is that like that theta state of in between where you're deeply relaxed, but you're not unconscious, and that is where the messages come in, and that is how we work with the psychic information. And that's why I was like, all right, maybe it's not all my just my brain making things up and putting avatars in, because that would be upsetting. You're thinking your loved one is visiting you in the dream, and it turns out it's me creating an avatar. Well, that's, so kind of like, all right, cool, we have a way of interpreting it.
It could, yeah, it could be that. Um, and I think that's where we have to check in with our dream body. And I know you're going to discuss that
Yeah.
to try to make a determination on that. And Fred Allen Wolf discussed how it feels
Yeah.
and how we can't measure how it feels.
Yeah.
That's the limitation of science. And the article in Scientific American, always keep in mind they're purely coming from a research, investigatory, science driven thing. So I take that as that and augment it with other things that I'm reading and my
Hmm.
inner knowing and my brain.
Yeah. And I feel like, yes, there are general things to apply, but experience is still unique to the
Yeah.
person. Only you know what's real to you. And the reason, the only distinction I find between the lucid dream that I can control is something weird and unusual happens in it, where it's like, wait, what the hell is this? Like if you're talking to a person, all of a sudden their mouth is all like separate from them, or something happens. And that's how I know. I'm like, wait a minute, that's different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with you. There's usually some kind of weird thing, although all my dreams tend to be kind of weird. But there is this extra dimension of weirdness, I think, that goes along with the lucid experience.
Right.
Do you want to talk about the dream body since we've mentioned it?
Sure. The dream body is like this state where, in which, if you practice enough of dream manipulation in your lucid dreams, the line becomes to blur between what is a dream and what is reality. And you can learn to take that into your awakened state where everything becomes dreamlike, and you realize that you can actually manipulate your own reality based on this interaction. It's just like everything becomes dreamy and dreamlike. I can compare this to what it feels like for me in a Reiki session. When I'm doing a Reiki session and I go deep and it becomes sort of veil like feeling over, where it's like, I'm so relaxed, in that relaxed state, channeling the information, and especially if things are coming in psychically. And I become so relaxed that I forget, is this real? Not forget, but it's sort of like I start to observe myself. I become the watcher of the watcher, where it's like, here is my body doing things, and I'm watching. And it can be from any angle, where it's like, oh, look at what this person's doing, and me to myself, right? It's like becoming simultaneously the person doing the action and an observer of that, and then another observer on top of that. It's like this dreamy strange state that feels relaxing, that feels sort of like dreamy because it's relaxing. And so essentially it's like a realization that you're awake, but it feels like you're asleep because of that deep relaxation state. And it's like an extension, it becomes an extension of your subconscious mind. And that's the state that helps you to access deeper states. And that's when past lives comes up, that's when traumas comes up, And that is why lucid dreaming and Dreambody is a chance to actually work on your shadows, work on your traumas, work on the things that are coming up for you that were lodged like deep in the subconsciousness. And that's what the beauty of the lucid dreams is. You begin there, realizing that you're in control. All you have to do is learn tools on, well, how do I do that? It's great you're talking about it. How do I control it? What is necessary for me to apply it in actual practice? And so that's pretty much what to me, like, and also the author Fred Allen Wolf also describes it this way, where it's being in that in between state. It's like becoming an extension of your subconscious mind and connecting to other realms at the same time, so to your psyche and to your intuitive abilities. And that is why I say, like, once you learned how to manipulate your lucid dreams, that the dream body is like the extension of that. And that's what helps you to develop your psychic abilities. That's the feeling of tuning into it.
Yeah, I
Do you
agree.
understand? Am I being clear? Yes. So it's sort of like becoming both asleep and awake at the same time, kind of walking in that in between state. And
Rhonda said something.
somebody shared something, but we're about to, once we're done going through this, we're gonna unmute to actually talk about this with the rest of the group. But basically, yeah, it's like this relaxed, super relaxed state, and understanding that you can control the outcome of certain things, and it can be used as a spiritual tool, absolutely, to connect to the universe and to everything that it has to offer, really, and to what's going on inside, looking at your deepest, darkest corners, and understanding the deep world within us. But that's pretty much what I explain Dreambody as like. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I think that's beautiful. I love how you said that.
Yeah.
I have, like, my daughter tried to call, so sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yeah. The only thing I can add is also when you're in that state, that's when the information comes in.
Yeah.
And it can come in as psychic information in any form, like symbols, like people, like messages. That's the state. And it's called
Yeah.
Dreambody.
Yeah, I found that to be true for me. And Fred Allen Wolf postulates about you,
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, no, good.
Okay. Um, the potential of connecting with other souls in that state.
Right.
So he does go there. He also goes into being able to communicate with people, you know, who are not in that state, intending before you go to sleep in a study to signal when you're having a nightmare to the researchers, so then you'll wake you up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
With their eyes. Oh, you know what I also wanted to add? That after reading that article, with the eyes, the way they signal, looking from in the REM sleep, the way they signal looking from left to right with their closed eyes, I have noticed that when people are in a hypnotherapy session with me. And
Wow.
so, and I actually did a little research where I'm like, is this the same? It's not the same state, but it's semi there, because hypnosis is a little bit deeper than that. But you're not unconscious during hypnosis either.
And that reminds me of EMDR therapy.
Yes. Yes.
And for people who don't know what EMDR is it's being in therapy and through different means, either a light or little things in your hands, the pulse, close your eyes and get in that sense, and make your eyes go back and forth as ways of reprogramming your brain as things are being said to you to heal trauma.
Right. Right. It works very well for people with PTSD,
Yes.
according to the article, PTSD especially,
Yes.
because it helps to rewire trauma, PTSD, like uh, people with sleep paralysis, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. Would you like to share tools on what you do to control the outcome?
Yeah. That's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, how old were you when you noticed that this was happening?
Since I'm a kid,
Yeah.
my earliest memories is always flying, like super, like amazing, like wings and everything.
Yeah. I was really young. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know that this was something people didn't do.
Right.
And my brother Dirk, he was saying, oh yeah, and he explained, he was a year older, so a lot more wiser. And he explained to me what these dreams. I'm like, yeah, me too. Um, and over the years I've had uh, to tap into it and use my power within it, because I didn't realize how much power I had or why I was having it. Um, so it was sort of happening without my intending to, at least not consciously intending to. Um, so are we getting into intending upon having the dream and then how to manipulate it? Is that,
Yeah.
yeah. So from what I understand, I must be intending very unconsciously, because some of it really is exhausting to me.
Yes.
Um, but I have them a lot. Um, so if you don't have them and you do want them, it could be as easy as, I intend tonight that I'm going to be able to have a lucid dream and be able to control what's going on,
Yeah.
and intend that. Um, Sometimes when I'm within a lucid dream, I'm like, I have to first recognize what's going on. Like, yeah, I do. I can absolutely influence what's going on in this dream. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, it's always something weird. For me, it's like a scary dream. I just want it to stop.
Mm.
Um, so there's a lot of self-talk that goes in the dream. Like, Meredith, okay, yeah, this is a lucid dream. Like the example I was saying earlier. The woman's gonna be scary. She's gonna come again. And then I sort of talk to myself, now next time she comes, just don't be afraid. Don't
Mm-hmm.
say anything, but don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sort of evolves. Well, now I'm not afraid. Now I'm going to tell her to go away. Right. So then I tell her to go away, and I take it step by step. I've had dreams where it's just an empty field of imagination. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to see a spruce tree. I
Okay.
want to see a rabbit. I want to see a big statue. And those dreams, as of right now, kind of give me a headache.
Right.
I can make it happen, but it's like, oh, this is a little painful.
Yeah.
So it's about intention. It's about recognizing where you are. And I think a good thing to add to the intention is, I will have a lucid dream as means to heal this, whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
My fear of fluffy cats. My fear of heights. Um, and I want to take a step tonight towards that when I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So adding intention upon that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips and tricks? And
Just, oh, okay, I can share my experience. Thank you for sharing yours, because that's exactly what you start with is intention. What is my intention today in my dream? Do I want to access my thing is I love to astral travel. I'm like, before I go to bed and as I'm drifting away, not like half an hour before I go to sleep and I'm doom scrolling, but when I'm actually about to drift away, I will actually set an intention. Today I will do this and this, and I do. And so when I am in a lucid dream, is just like you said, first thing is to recognize that you're in a lucid dream, right? First thing you're like, okay, this is not a usual dream. How do I know? It's vivid, first of all. Super, super vivid. It's always in bright colors. There's a lot of details, more than usual, because my regular dreams are crazy and they're all over the place. And if it's a psychological dream, it's going to be emotionally charged. That is not a lucid dream to me. And so when it's a lucid dream to me, it is, again, vivid, detailed. I remember everything. It's in 3D, and I start to manipulate so I can incorporate an avatar into it. I had one last night where I was dreaming of some funky stuff, like I was being put under anesthesia, and I created an avatar with my mind. I mean, he came out kind of looking weird, but well, whatever my brain came up with. But I was so afraid going under anesthesia that I was said to myself, I was like, all right, I intend to create something or someone that will come to me and soothe me and help me to not be afraid. And it was some kind of, I don't know, boy, man. And he came up, and all I could see his brown eyes and the feeling of peace. And he was holding my hand, and he was really looking me in the eyes, like right, like really right, right. Okay, you're close, but I feel comfortable at the same time. It's really strange, but it was just like eyes. I was like, okay. and and I was comfortable, and through the whole experience, knowing what it feels like being under anesthesia, you know that feeling when you drift and you're going into nothing, right? You before you go into outer space, right? The entire time I was laying there, I'm going in now. I'm going in now. And I couldn't because I was trying to control the anesthesia. And until the morning, I was laying there any minute now.
Yeah.
And then they're like waking me up. You're done now. I'm like, but I didn't feel the deep unconscious feeling. What's up? And the point of this anesthesia was so they can access whoever the hell these people were, my past life, like Akashic Records kind of situation. And as I'm being laid down on the table and I saw everything, and I'm like, is this really that necessary? I can access it without this. Like, what's up with the anesthesia? You don't need this. But it was like this, yeah, you need it so you can relax and like go deeper and blah blah whatever. And I'm like, okay, but I need somebody to, because I always freak out before I go in because I'm like, I don't want to die.
Right.
And so I created this dude that when I came out of it, my mind continued creating this where he was no longer up in my face. And I was like, all right, I'm good now. Bye. And he was just all the way over there, like, bye bye now. See you later. And that's how I knew. And when I woke up, it stayed with me. And so the way I control it, I never put the two together. I always wake up with a headache. Always tension headache, because it requires a lot of energy to manipulate this dream. I'm like, I'm a control freak. I'm also controlling my dreams. Great, never resting. Fantastic. So it's like control freak even in my dreams. Nothing new. And that's why I just realized I wake up almost every other day with a headache because that's all I see is lucid dreams. And I'm like, and I asked somebody, and that's all they see as well. And she asked me, she's like, do you mean that's not normal? I'm like, I hear it's not, but that's all I know. I have either crazy psychological dreams like a fish on a horse and driving off a cliff, or riding an elevator out the roof and off I go, or this lucid dreaming stuff. I would like everybody to unmute, please. And if anybody wants to share their experience on lucid dreaming, please like either raise your hand so that we don't end up talking all together over each other. You can just like do this because I can see if your camera is on. If not, then there supposedly somewhere a thing where you can raise your hand. But I would like somebody to share their experience with lucid dreaming, please.
I had a hard time getting in, so can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi.
Great.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
Are you sharing on lucid dreaming or?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the reason I'm here.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
So, I think what you're talking about is spontaneous lucid dreaming, because there's quite a bit of different types of lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And what you shared basically was it comes from the frontal lobe of your brain, and it just causes it to just go wild, and you don't really have a whole lot of control over it, even though you do. Does that make sense?
No, not really. Not exactly. What are you talking about right now?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The first part of the lucid dreaming
Uh-huh.
is spontaneous lucid dreaming. It's like you know you're dreaming,
Uh-huh.
but you have control over it,
Okay.
you know, and that part comes from the frontal lobe of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
whenever you start to become more in control of it,
Mm-hmm.
you can go on to step 2. You can make yourself have lucid dreaming.
Your intention.
Right.
Yes.
The intentional lucid dreaming.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which goes into further steps.
Yes.
And that took me a while to learn how to do that, because I didn't like the first step.
No.
I didn't
No.
like that at all.
No. It's like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, it was weird.
Yes.
Do you have any tips or tricks, Elaine?
The first one was, well, whenever I had my first one, it was kind of scary.
Uh-huh.
It was almost like a nightmare. And I was like, I got to get a hold of this. And so I would just, before I went to sleep, I was like, okay, if this is what's gonna happen again, I need to learn how to do step 2,
Okay.
which is control your dream. So before I went to sleep, I was like, okay, if me and this thing meet up tonight in my dream, I'm taking over.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
So we battled it out.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
oh yeah, it was a battle, all right.
I see you won. Thank God.
We're so glad you-
I did. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So it
We
was,
did touch on that as well. Yeah.
what was I fighting?
What were you fighting?
Is that what you're wanting to know?
No, no, no. I was just saying that we did touch on that, what you just said. The Meredith mentioned that part where that would be like if she was having a nightmare, she made a conscious decision to be in control next time.
What you do is you take and you realize that you're asleep,
Mm-hmm.
but you know you're dreaming. And you
Mm-hmm.
know that, Meredith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you just basically got to say, okay, I know I'm dreaming, but I need to take over.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough, right?
And it is. It
Yeah.
is. And a lot of times, how to do it. And this is the crazy part, is you take a sock and put it on one foot. And usually you put it on your right foot. And if your right foot's hotter than your left foot because you don't have a sock on it, you're like, okay, I'm dreaming because I know my right foot's hotter, but my left foot's colder. Does that make sense?
Yes, so what you're essentially saying, you need to come up with a way to remind yourself that you are asleep.
That's
But
smart.
you're awake, right? You're in
Yes,
control.
awake
You
and asleep at the same time, that what you're watching is a dream. Yes,
bingo,
yes,
bingo,
yes,
exactly.
yes, absolutely.
A Fred
And you're
Allen
like,
said something like that in the book too, about
Yes,
how to
yes,
remind yourself. I'm glad you
yes,
brought that up, Elaine.
yes, exactly. They said you have to set up a telltale thing for you, whether it's an alarm or some kind of sound, or like a sock, or whatever works for you that will snap you and like sort of train you to understand. Boom. And they do mention it in the book and in the article, I think, too, where it's like you go through a training like this through
right,
reminders like
like
that.
people with anxiety, and then they get the rubber
Yes,
band and they'll pop it on their
yes,
wrist or whatever.
yes,
You can do the same thing with your dreams.
absolutely. But you just have to remember to do that.
Right, right. But
Yes,
you won't wake up, and then you'll start seeing colors
yes,
in your dream. And when you
yes,
start seeing that colors, you are in control.
yes.
Huh.
That's the key, is to stay in that in between state
Right. You got to
without fully
stay.
awakening.
Exactly. You are
Yes,
exactly right.
yes, absolutely.
Until you have won the battle
Uh-huh.
of what's going on in your dream.
Yes. And that's how you alter it. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for
That's
sharing.
excellent, cuz.
Yes, thank you. We have another person who wanted to share. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but please unmute yourself. Is it Berenice, or please unmute yourself and please share with us.
Hi.
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 I just want to thank you all so much for putting this together. This actually is a niche that I've been working for, like in gathering sessions. So you guys actually you know, have a really good niche here. Um, and that is really helpful. Um, Not too many people like talking about their dreams. And so, I discovered that as well as, as a child, but luckily I was brought up with a family that understood the dream state, so it's helped, growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, also very similar experience like you guys. I found out that not a lot of people had access to their dreams. And so, it just kind of puts you in a timid position to talk as you got older. But as time has gone, I've found other people that are able to access these dreams. And from my perception of this, I've seen it in levels. And I'll go over like the levels that I've kind of experienced with myself and people around me. But one of the first levels that I came to realize was when you're in the dream, but you are just going along with the dream. So
Mm-hmm.
you're able to remember what is going on, but you do not have control of what's going on in the dream, and I like to call that like level one, that you're at least able to remember that you dreamed, but you don't have any control of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Level two to me is um, lucid dreaming. And when I say lucid dreaming, it means that you're in there and then you start to realize like this awareness that um, you're able to move in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to move in the dream. and kind of either go along with whatever story they're giving you, or you kind of start wandering around somewhere else like, hey, I don't want to go with these people wherever they're going. I'm going to go over here, right? But you're still within the theme of whatever there is they're giving you. The third that I've came to realize is when you have control of the theme alongside with yourself in it.
Mhm.
You know, so you're able to change like whatever theme they're giving you. You're like, I don't like this. I'm just going to go to the beach. You go to the beach, right?
Uh-huh.
And so that's like a more, advanced level. And then the fourth one that I've came to that I'm still experimenting with myself is the astral projecting one, which is where you go out and you completely travel somewhere that is real. And it's just you get to see things at like eh, and this is a part, like I said, I'm experimenting with it. I've gone to, you know, to see like my star beings, and I've been in
Yeah.
space. Like they've taken me when I've astral projected, I've gone to like spaceships,
Yes.
and I've been like in sessions where they like it looks like like a school, I guess, and they're like reminding me of things,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
like reassessing me and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Um, I've also been placed in places like of war where they've taken me, like astral projected me in places of war because they've wanted to. I guess I'm interpreting it like they want to collect data,
Wow.
you know. Um, and there's the most recent one that was kind of like a little weird to me, um, that I've astral projected in was um I went to a hotel, and this hotel had secret doors. And through these secret doors were children coming out. And these children were being trafficked.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm experimenting with that, because when it gets to that point,
Yeah.
um you see some stuff, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, and again, you're still in full control. The things that have made me realize, those were really neat tricks that you guys all said. They're very valid. For me,
Mhm.
when I'm in the dream state, um, I always look at my hands and I flash them back and forth.
That's great.
And um, they look like they're kind of like glowy to me,
Mm.
or I'll stomp my feet and
Uh-huh.
then I don't feel the ground like it's stomping. It feels like a cloud.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those are ways that I've like I don't know what you call that, like activated where I know that I'm in my dream.
Mhm. Mhm. Your little
Along
indicator.
with when you see certain people, sometimes you're like, I don't know who these people are, right? It's just
Right.
when you start noticing, you're like, okay, I'm dreaming.
Mhm.
I've also had an experience where, and I'm sure you guys probably had this, but there's been dreams, or I'm still trying to make sense of what this is, but when you're in the dream and there be like a person that you're just like, I know that's my dad, but that's not your dad in this lifetime,
Right.
you know?
Yes.
And so it's like accessing, I don't know if that's like a parallel life or something, because I've accessed those quite some time, and
Yes.
I've flipped out when I'm waking up, and I wake up and it's not my husband from this lifetime, and it's like some other guy, but in the dream I know he's my husband, but it
Yes.
still freaks you out.
Yes.
So that's also happened to me.
Uh-huh.
And when I move, like when you move, um when you're trying to move into the dream, you have to like kind of remember that you don't have your body with you. And so you kind of have to, like, if you want to move, you have to move with your mind
Yes.
and tell your mind what it is that you want to do. And I've experienced where people have those dreams where they can't move. And it's
Yes.
because they're trying to move like they move here on earth. And you can't do that. You know, you have to move with your mind. Otherwise, you're not going to
Yes.
go nowhere. You get stuck.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. And the way I exit my dreams, I always think like going up. And it always works every single time. And I've told other people to do the same, and they come back to me and they're like, it worked. And so,
Are
yeah,
you
if you ever want to,
referring? I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify. Are you referring when the sleep paralysis happens, you think of up?
anytime you want to exit the dream, you just
Oh,
think of it going up.
when you're just
And
not fond of what you're watching, and you're just like, all right, I'm out of here.
or just whatever, like whenever you want to exit, or if something's
Okay.
coming at you and you don't want it to come at you, and you cannot change the theme, because that's happened to me as well. Like that, there's certain dreams I think that they use to like kind of test where you are consciously, like where you're conscious at, like how you feel, what it is that you're doing, and it's like a test
Right.
to assess you. And
Mhm.
so when I've found myself in some of those, I cannot change the setting of it. And
Okay.
so the only option that I have is to exit the dream,
It's all good
you know?
practice.
Yeah.
Still control. Yeah.
Still in control because you're exiting, and it's not like you're just staying there, letting this thing come at you or whatever. Um, but but yeah, so that's just been my experience. I do now when I wake up, the thing that's right next to me is usually my phone. So I've like just open up any random text message, and while I'm sleeping, still in the sleep state, I'm typing what it is that I'm what I'm
Yes.
seeing.
Yes.
And usually I have to have one eye open and one eye closed. One eye
Yes.
so I can see what I'm typing, and the
I do the
closed so I
same.
can still have my foot over there. Because if I
Yes.
open both of my eyes, I exit the
You're
dream.
awake. Yes.
Right.
That's what I do. If I have to wake up, I'm like, one eye
Yep.
still sleeping. Uh,
Like your foot's
Thank
still
you
there,
so
you
much
know.
for sharing that. That was excellent. Thank you. I see Anna had her hand raised next. Thank you so much, Anna. Would you like to unmute yourself and share what it is that you wanted?
Yes. I was
Yes.
gonna say I do the same. It's kind of like don't spook. What was it? And then you type it up, and then when you're fully awake, it's like what? And why?
Letters
Because
like this
I
big and
usually write it down to send it to Anastasia, and then I'm like, what am I typing here?
scripted
Um,
message.
yeah. But to me, I find that the lucid dreams are the ones that I remember even months and even years after,
Yes.
like details, vivid details that I can recollect even after a long time, because normally I can't remember my dreams. I mean, I know I dreamed because I wake up like a truck ran over me. I know I've been active, but like it floats away as soon as my cats make noise. Oh, you fuckers, so cute. Like I just kind of like, but lucid stays with me,
Yes.
stays with me. Like I have a few dreams that just still to this day I remember every detail. But my question is recurring dreams. Dreams that happen for decades and I still can't, the details are the same. There are no feelings. Sometimes there's fear, but that's psychological because it also depends on how I've been feeling in the days coming to that dream or what I've been thinking about. But there's a couple of dreams that just kept reoccurring for like years. Haven't seen it in a while, but I still remember all the details, and it's always the same scene. It's always the same occurrence, always the same details. Also going back to a point that Berenice, I'm sorry, is that her name? Yeah, that you made. about, I know this is this person, but they don't look like themselves all the time. Space, places, people, all the time. Like, but I think to me, it's just meant to be a representation. It's supposed to just represent whoever it is, like their essence. It doesn't matter what they look like, but you know it's them. The place, you know, it doesn't look like the place. For many years, I've dreamt of like a place, our grandma's place, but it, even if it didn't look like it, but that's because so much emotional life happened there. And I think it also probably because that's the only childhood I actually remember. So it's like maybe it's more of an emotional thing than a reality. But yeah, whenever okay, this is like my home, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't matter because I feel like it's just about the intent. But yeah, my question was the reoccurring dreams. If I remember the details, is it a lucid dream?
Is it?
I would say it depends.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking. Or is it just kind of? Oh, my favorite. Sometimes something wakes me up. I'm in the dream, and then like, let's say I go to the bathroom. I come back. I'm like, let's see the rest of this dream, and I go back in the dream.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm in the dream, and I'm like, I don't like where this is going. No, 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 no. You ain't gonna die. Let's change that. Yeah.
That's a lucid dream that you are controlling. And sometimes it happens 2-3 nights in a row. Let's see how the saga ends.
Yeah. It's fun when it actually works. Like I woke up, went to the bathroom, used the bathroom, fed the cats, and then went back to sleep. And I went back into the same moment and then just continued. Let's see what's the next episode of this series, you know?
Yeah. That is exactly what it's like to be in the dream body. You're not awake, but you're doing things still under influence. And the fact that you went back asleep, like when you're in the dream body and if you lay down, you'll be like, out
yeah.
I think the article in the book go into that too. It talks about the hippocampus and all this fabulous sciencey stuff.
Sciencey stuff. Okay. Yes. I must buy the book now.
Yes, I can give it to you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's my experience. So yeah, I guess it's up to me if I make the recurring dreams, the lucid dream. I don't know.
It's very individual because only you know what feels recurrent. It's a matter of, well, is it psychological? Is it some kind of psychological issue that's constantly coming up that's trying to work itself through? Because recurrent dreams can be nothing but psychological because you're constantly refusing to deal with something in the awakened state. Therefore, it's going to appear in a dream. I'm not saying yours is psychological. What I'm saying is it? Is there because we could talk about this forever and ever because there's an element that you can analyze. Is it heights? Is it water? Is it fire? Is it a person? Is it an issue? What is the recurrent theme?
Is it a premonition? No, I hope not, because then we're all fucked.
Because again, it's most likely a psychological dream.
On the premonition part, I mean, I have those a lot. The precognitive dreams where I'll dream about something and I guarantee you within a week it happens.
Oh, I hope mine never happens.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Before Ukraine started, it happened. And before a bunch of stuff happened, it happened.
Yeah. There's a lot of us who use dreams as a channel for psychic information. Absolutely. And that's where the lucid dreaming comes in, is because we can manipulate even that. I would like, And that's what I did. That's why I got upset after reading the article, because here I am going to sleep talking to my stepdad who's passed away, and I'm like, okay, dude, come on over. In my dream, I would like my hug. And he comes in and he hugs me, and I am feeling all of it, the actual touch, the actual love, the actual interaction. Thank you so much for coming. And then I start to try to control that, and I start to talk to him, and his mouth starts to go places. And I'm like, oh, no. And after reading this article, I'm like, well, okay, well, but did I create this avatar? Like, why did I create this avatar? Well, first of all, that was my intention. And that is why I always thought that this was a psychic lucid dream, because I intended it, specifically asked for it before I went to sleep. But the article is like, well, you focused on it, your brain made it happen. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like,
It's very, the article is so scientific,
it is.
and I love it. And I think it all does rest in intention.
Yeah.
If it's like, I want to have this experience where I'm hugging my stepdad, or I intend to connect with my stepdad on a spiritual level tonight,
Right.
not a player, not an avatar. It could be an intention thing.
Yes. And that's why I feel like it was still like psychic, because it wasn't an outside dream where I placed him in. It literally was just all about that. There was no other distractions. There was nothing else. It's like, this is the activity we came here to do. Let's do it. Over. That's it. And it felt completely psychic, because, well, after experiencing psychic ones, or my astral traveling is my favorite. I've seen some creatures and it feels very natural. It never feels emotional or weird. It's like, oh, there goes Jeff, and Jeff is like 30 feet tall, and or like these mountain-sized masters walking around looking like from a cartoon with one eye, and like, oh, cool. So it's it's really is
I think a good litmus test could be whether or not you could control that avatar, because we can't control other souls. We can only control what it is that we create.
Yes, interaction.
So that might help.
Does anybody else would like to share anything else? We have a couple of more minutes.
Hi, my name is Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi, and I
Hi,
would like to
Rhonda.
thank, hi, I would like to thank Meredith for inviting me.
Thank you for coming, Rhonda.
Oh, you're welcome. This has really been an eye-opener, and I can take something from what each and every one of you said. I have very lucid dreams, and at times, and I spoke to Meredith about this before, sometimes it felt like something is riding me. Like if I'm trying to wake up from a dream because I know it's a bad dream. And I try to wake up because I know it's a dream. And sometimes my husband, he could be laying right next to me, and I'm saying, wake me up, wake me up. But I'm saying, wake me up in my dream. He can't hear me until I start moaning. That's my mechanism. I start to moan loud so he can hear me and hit me and wake me up. That's one. Another one is when you said about when you have control over your dreams. A lot of times I'll dream that I'm in danger and I'm running from someone and they're chasing me. And as they're chasing me, if I don't see any outlet, I'll jump up and fly away. That's another mechanism for me that I find that I can control. So it's very interesting that you pointed out that you can control your dreams, but how can I really control the ones that I feel that I'm being held down? As they say, it's an old saying, a hag is riding you.
Uh-huh.
Go
That
ahead.
almost
I
sounds like
see you.
sleep
I see you get
paralysis.
your hand up.
Woohoo. Are
You
you-
want to
I-
hear it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I know you said we only have just a few seconds, but I will tell you a horrible dream. But I became in control of this dream. I was on vacation, and this monster, it was a demon actually, attacked. I know it sounds crazy, but it was there
Mm-hmm.
and it was attacking me. First, it came to me as a person
Mm-hmm.
and seemed very, very nice and this and that and the other. And I'm like, I just felt in my dream that something's off, something's not right. And then all of a sudden, it turned into this huge demon.
Mm-hmm.
And it jumped onto me, like you said, like the hag. And I felt like that at first I couldn't move. But then I thought to myself, what do I do? What am I going to do? And I thought, I'm going to control this dream. That's what I'm going to do. And I whipped into the biggest monster, bigger than that.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And I flipped it over and we got to fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner was laying beside me, was afraid to do anything because you said your husband was laying beside you. But my partner was like, was woke up and was like, you were speaking in a different language. And I said, a different language? And she's like, yeah, I don't know what you were speaking, but I wasn't about to get knocked out of the bed. And
Yes.
so we went at it in battle. So if you feel that way again, if you can,
Uh-huh.
try your best, if you can, to turn yourself into something bigger and badder than that hag you think is riding you,
I hear you.
Yeah.
and get it off of you.
Yeah.
Because that's what's riding you, is that hag. And they try to take over you. Not take over you, but to hold you down, to prove that they're stronger than you, and they're not.
Right, right. Well, thank you for that input.
And after about 2 or 3 times of this happening, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It
So-
went away. It never
Yeah.
happened again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll
Thank you for
take that in
sharing that.
consideration. Yes, yes. Another thing I'd like to point out is that my dreams often prepare me for what's to come.
Okay.
Like I'm quite
Oh.
sure, like with many of you. Um, and sometimes it's a warning and it's to prepare me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do have insights to my dream. My grandmother was a dream reader.
Mm-hmm.
She had business cards printed, bless her soul.
Right.
A lot of times when these dreams come to me and I want to talk to my husband about them, he's like, I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
Because he knows something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because like I said, these dreams do prepare me. And they come true.
Yeah.
But when they come true, I can deal with it much better on a different level
That's
to
great.
keep my sanity.
So it's a blessing for you.
It is a blessing. If I embraced it totally and got really deep into it,
Mm-hmm.
I bet I can be a blessing to others too.
Absolutely.
I don't think right now I want to take that on because it's a lot mentally. Another thing I would like to touch on is someone else mentioned recurring dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to sleep tonight and have a dream, and in my dream, it's like I've had this dream 10 years ago. The
Yes.
same people,
A
the
deja
same
vu.
outcome.
Uh-huh.
Deja vu. But here's the kicker. I can have a dream
Uh-huh.
and a week or 2 weeks later, I can be somewhere and I'm like, I was here before.
Yes. Deja vu.
So was that my previous life? I was going back to,
Yep.
and yeah.
It could be a variety of things. You definitely jumped a timeline, or rather zoomed out of a timeline where you simultaneously witnessed more than one timeline, which can be interpreted as past life, future, present. It's all a matter of observing a timeline based on a frequency that you're in. It's really
Gotcha.
cool.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you
with
for
you on
sharing
that.
that. Yes,
You're
that's very
welcome.
Yeah.
common for me
Yes.
too.
She touched on a lot of good subjects there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Is that all, Aranda?
Let me see the repeat. I was making my notes here with everything everyone else said.
Great.
Repeated dreams, the heck, preparing me for the future, and that's about it. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you so
about
much
it.
for sharing. Thank you so
You're
much. I have,
welcome.
before we go, I saw one more hand, and Eleonora, you wanted to share something?
I'm pretty much, I guess I did not pay that much attention too much to my dreams. And as Anna mentioned something, I realized that I had, I mean, not anymore, but I have been having the same dream for almost 20 years. It was always feeling, it's kind of like scary dream that things happen that, you stop something in your mouth, you can't take it out, like. And
Yep.
what I noticed that I think because we grow spiritually, that dream went away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying necessarily it's not gonna come back, but I really never thought about why is the same recurring dream being with me for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I really never thought that I can have a control to take myself out of the dream. But as Anna was saying something, I would have a dream and it was so scary that I would open my eye and say, okay, it's not there anymore. And then I go back and it's the same thing, which I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? I don't care how scary because your heart is pumping. I'm waking up completely. And I would wake up and I had to breathe and then kind of in a way afraid to go back to sleep. But when I do, it's not there anymore. So in a way, we do control our dreams, want it or not. So yeah, that's where I want to go.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes. Yes. Meredith, do you have any other things to add? Otherwise, we'll conclude.
Thank everybody. Thank you everybody for showing up tonight on a
Yeah.
Friday night. And thank
Yeah.
you, Anastasia, for
Oh,
putting everything together. You're amazing.
oh no, everybody's amazing. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, for joining everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much for, yes, we have Instagram. So basically information like the recording of this will be on YouTube that I will share in our Reiki community group. If you're not part of it, please join. The link to it will be in the comments section, in the description section of the copy of the video, together with the book and the name of the article. And if you ever have any questions, please find one of us. Send ravens.
We have something coming up next month, right?
Thank you so much for joining us today. If anybody has any last minute questions or concerns, please ask right now. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of your amazing experiences.
We have a thing next month. What are we calling that?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes,
Thank you for
February
the
15th.
invite. Really, I enjoyed it quite immensely. Thank you.
I love having you around. God,
Thank you so much.
I love
like
seeing
to
your
say-
beautiful face.
I love you.
Oh,
I
you
love
guys
you
are so-
too.
Yeah, so please, next month on February 15th, actually, it's sort of like a spin-off of today, and it's going to be
Okay.
my Instagram name is Good Juju Reiki Academy. I can actually drop a link to that in my description as well, but thank you. In any case, February 15th at 1:30 New York time, we're going to talk about precognition versus manifestation. So it's sort of like continuing a similar topic to what we were just talking about. Did I psychically see it, or did I make it into reality? With my
What is consciousness?
yes, yes. So thank you again so much, and have an amazing
Thank
weekend.
you.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Meredith. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. I love you. Bye.
Mhm.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.